just a closer walk with thee. Granted, Jesus is my plea. Daily walking close to thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be. What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear, and what a privilege to carry. Everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit, and oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not care. Everything to God in prayer. Can we find a friend so faithful, who will all our sorrows share? Jesus knows our every weakness. Take it to the Lord in prayer. consider all the worlds thy hands have made. I see the stars, I hear the roll and thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed.
And why should the shadows come? Why should my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home? When Jesus is my portion, a constant friend is He. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. And I sing because I'm happy, and I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. And I sing because I'm happy. Yes, I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches. Yes, I know He watches me. Yes, I know He watches me.
When you stop and think about it, like when you really stop and think about it, there have been thousands of moments in your life that have led you here today. Like when you stop and think about it, there have been tens of thousands of moments in your life that have led you to sit next to the person you're sitting next to this morning. That's especially true if you are sitting next to your beloved of, I don't know, like 30 years. Or a guy that you've won a championship with and consider to be a brother. It's most especially true if you don't even know the name of the person you're sitting next to this morning, you know? But when you look back on it, some of those seasons have been hard. Like if I invited you to go back and relive those seasons, you would say, Matthew, I had enough the first time. Those were the worst moments of my life. I'd rather skip them. But there are other moments that if I gave you the option to go back and relive, you would say, I didn't know it at the time, but those were among the best moments of my life. And can I just live those on repeat? When you stop and think about it, they all belong. Like the good and the bad. Because without all of it, you wouldn't be sitting next to the person you're sitting next to this morning. So then you might, I don't know, you might just call it a miracle that we're all here. together in this place. The last time Nelly worshiped at Preston Hollow, it was Sunday before he got the Lifetime Achievement Award. He was sitting just back there. He was worshiping with Christy and Blake and RJ and Charlie. It was a normal Sunday morning. I was pouring communion, and Charlie began to giggle and to laugh and to scream. And the next thing I know, as I'm pouring the cup, I hear Nelly yell, "Sing it, Charlie!" And he did. Like, Charlie let it rip. After worship, I said, "Man, you encouraged him. Like, you blessed him. You freed Charlie to be himself. But you also gave everyone in the congregation that morning a gift, because you helped us see the holy in the midst of the ordinary." After worship, Joy, I thanked him. I said, "Man, thank you for doing that. But I also want to thank you for wearing shoes to worship this morning, Nelly." And I said, "Man, they're good, but I would have preferred the Lukas, But he said, "Matthew, just know that I'm the only one who can pull off no shoes on the golf course." And I said, "That's true." I've been thinking about Nelly going shoeless, hitting T-balls on Maui. And it's funny to think about, but I've been thinking that it's actually a metaphor for maybe how he lived his life. In the wisdom tradition, when people come upon the divine, upon God, and they recognize it, they see it as holy and sacred ground, and they take off their shoes. Like Moses came upon a burning bush one day, and he took his shoes off because he knew it was holy and sacred ground. I think Nelly knew something about the holiness of being a husband, being a father, being a grandfather and a great-grandfather. I think he knew the sacred ground that he stood upon with so many of you as a friend and a mentor and also a coach. The coaches that I most respect are the coaches who know that being a coach is a calling. It's like a sacred privilege because you are entrusted to the care of your players. Because coaches occupy a special place that no one else does. I think it's why every coach who ever called Nelly asking for advice on how to be a better coach, he started with the same piece of advice. It was never about X's and O's. He said, "The best advice I can give you is you have to love your players." No matter what your calling is in this life, y'all, it begins with love. And Nelly's began with loving his players. I mean, let's be honest. To love someone is to meet them where they are. Like, to love someone is to see beyond the position they think they play, but to see the gifts that they embody and to help free them to live those gifts fully. To love someone is to love them not where they are today, but to love them into being what they're capable of. And at the time, they may not even know that it's possible. Like, to love someone is to pour your life into them so that together you might know your own fullness. I want to say something this morning. To love your family, when you have championships and all the things, but to love your family so that your post-game report that is in your bulletin this morning is not full of career moments of your own, but of ordinary moments that your grandkids can look back on and see as holy moments with their grandfather. That's what it means to love. So, I think Nellie lived the miracle of Moses in the burning bush. I think he walked barefoot, but there's a midrash, this ancient Jewish interpretation that says the miracle of the burning bush was not that Moses came upon a burning bush. The miracle was that the bush had been burning the whole time, and Moses finally saw it. It's like the good news of the gospel that Christ came to reveal. That there's no place in your life that is not holy. There's no place in this life where you can go where God is not. There is no place that is not holy and sacred ground. Nellie lived that miracle his whole life long. And I pray as we begin this service, we will come to see just how true that was, and that we might come to see that the ground that we're standing on this day is too holy and sacred ground. So thanks be to God for the life and the legacy, and dare I say, the ministry of Don Nelson. Let us pray. Hover here. Hover here in the sanctuary, O God, just as you hovered over the waters of creation. We come to you now as those who bear our hearts. And we come to celebrate the life of Nellie, to give thanks for the many gifts that he shared with the world, and how can we count them all? We give you thanks for the joy that he brought into so many lives through his laugh and his wit, through his love of basketball, his playful nature, his way of being that made us feel like we belonged. We thank you for Nellie's love for his family and his affection and devotion to his beloved Joy. Thank you for the love of his children, his grandchildren, and his great-grandchildren. And we thank you, oh God, for the ways that he loved his players, and the countless ways that he enriched the many organizations that he was a part of and invested in his whole life. And while we gather to celebrate this day, we also feel the heaviness of grief. For we all feel a certain void. The love which binds us to one another in this life, O God, also leaves us aching as earthly ties are broken. So comfort us, O God. For we thank you that for Nellie, death is past and pain has ended, and that he has now entered the joy you have prepared. So into your hands, O merciful Savior, we commend your servant Nellie. Acknowledge, we humbly pray, a sheep of your own fold, a lamb of your own flock, a sinner of your own redeeming. Receive Nellie into the arms of your mercy and into the blessed rest of everlasting peace and into the glorious company of the saints in light. For we pray this, O God, in the strong name of your Son, Jesus the Christ, who taught us to pray together, saying, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Amen. At this time, I want to invite Brian and Scott forward for our scripture reading and a welcome.
Good morning. Welcome and thank you for being here today. My name is Brian, and this is my brother Scott, and we're two of Don's 7 children. On behalf of our entire family, we want to express our gratitude for your presence and support of our father. We're not only here to mourn the loss of Don, but also remember and celebrate a person that meant so much to all of us. Each one of us will miss him in a special way. As a husband, as a father, a brother, as an uncle, a grandfather, a great-grandfather, an in-law, a coach, a colleague, a mentor, and a dear friend. We were members of his team, on and off the court, fans who will always carry the memories of his unique story and cherish our relationship to his playbook. We know today brings tears, but we also hope it brings smiles, big laughs, and comfort. Because if you knew Don, you remember how much he enjoyed seeing all of us together. He was fun-loving, innovative, a humble farm boy, and a legendary Hall of Famer, a strategist and a storyteller, a person who was unbelievably generous, and someone who we deeply loved and admired. We will miss him. Psalm 30, verse 5. For his anger is but for a moment, his favor is for a lifetime. Weeping may linger for the night, but joy comes with the morning. And now something Nellie would say, let's celebrate, you dumb bastards. It's in the Bible, the Book of Nellie.
Now on the video screens, we have a classic Nellie moment brought to you by Spalding.
Thank you.
Do we have it? I guess we don't have it. So, Donnie, we're going to invite you to act it out, and we need the basketball for it. Yeah, he needs the basketball. It was the moment. What happened, Donnie?
So as Pop,
Yeah, let's go.
check. There we go. So as Pop and Dell make their way up here, what you didn't see was one of the Nellie classic moments with Dell. It was Dell and myself as assistant coaches. He got teed up as he often did, and what he did was he punted the basketball in the technical, and it went into the balcony. I don't know if I can make the balcony. Dan Hunt, we'll see how my soccer skills are here. What do you think? Huh? In fact, Dell, I think I got $100 I can make the balcony up there. What do you think? All right. Huh? Of course it goes to Steve Nash, the soccer player. All right? Come on up, guys. This is one of my, these are my dad's coaching brothers, okay? Go all the way back with Dell 1977. Come on up here, guys. Pop, you and Dell were truly brothers. You're coaches together. Dad coached with a lot of folks. Come on up here front and center. And yeah, these guys have been through plenty of battles, just like these guys in the front 2 rows. But Dell and Pop impacted my dad's life in amazing ways. And by the way, I forgot to mention our real MVP. This is Rosie right here. And as you know, Nellie took a dog everywhere. Practice, draft rooms, so he was with dog at all times. This will absolutely be the most creative funeral service / celebration you've ever seen in your life. And that's the way Nellie would have wanted it. So with no further ado, the great Dale Harris.
Thank you. I really didn't think I would be able to say anything, but the room has lightened up so much, I think I'm going to be able to make it. And we go back to 1977, when he was going to be a referee, and I was assistant coach of the Rockets at the time. And so anyway, we were staying at the same hotel, and we started playing tennis, not golf. We started playing tennis every afternoon. And then in the fall, he became the assistant coach of the Bucks. In the winter, he became the head coach of the Bucks. Now that fall, he was sent to scout a game in his exhibition game in Memphis, and I was assigned the same game, and they had a scout bench, and at the scout bench, he and I were sitting side by side, and he said, "Coach, this will be my first game to scout. Could you help a feller out?" And we were friends ever since. So one thing I want to say is that he called, after I was head coach and so forth, he called one day and he said, "You know, let's don't go to Summer League again this year. We'd been going every year and doing the same thing, staying at the same hotel." He said, "We just have our own Summer League. You bring your guys up to Milwaukee, and we'll even get Sloan to bring the Bulls up maybe on the weekend." And we practiced against one another. Sometimes our team would have the ball. You remember this, Sydney? We would have the ball 10 times against the Bucks defense, and they'd have the ball against our defense, and then we had a game for the crowd and everything, and the Bulls did come up, and we worked something out on a triangle. So anyway, there were, initially I was thinking of 7 times Nellie helped me out along the way. But after I got to thinking about, well, I'm going to talk about it, I found 9 ways that he helped me as I went along. I won't go into the details, but I never asked him for help one time. He came when he didn't even, he'd had no idea that he was offering an alternative. Then I'd already made up my mind to do something else, and which it was to coach college instead of the NBA. But that wouldn't have worked out so like it did.
Thank you. Thank you, Del. Two amazing Hall of Famers, and this guy to my right surpassed Dad on the all-time winning coaches towards the end of his career. Greg Popovich.
And for that, Coach, I apologize because I didn't deserve it. Because most of the stuff that I ran in San Antonio, I stole from you. And I just tweaked it because I had different players. And that's the truth. I'm trying to recover. I got a little PTSD here, looking around at all these people that were opponents mostly. Oh, God. That's great. I think it's obviously sad for everyone that it has to be an event like this for everybody to get together, but it's emblematic of what Nellie did for almost all of us in the room. He had some effect on all of us, like Coach Harris just said, to help us along the way and do some things. That's who he was. He's a special guy in that respect. And people think he's a big, gruff bear out there. And I always, when I talk to some people that are real close to me, I say, my wife, is my daughter still here? My wife and my daughter wanted to move in most of the time when I was in Golden State with Nellie and Joy, because they had more fun with them than with me. He was just that kind of guy. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to say. It didn't take too long. I wanted to pick two stories that kind of showed the other side of him, to kind of show who he really was beside a basketball genius and innovator and tricky son of a gun. Okay. We were in Napa Valley one night at some place where we had to be, at some winery, having dinner, and people all around this table. And at one point, either I or he bumped his glass of wine and spilled on his pants. And he would not let up. He was badgering me the whole evening about how I knocked the wine on his pants, and they were his favorite pants. And I finally got tired of it, and I decided, well, this is one way I can find out if he will just think I'm a crazy Serbian or that I've got a little chutzpah. And so I said, I'm tired of this. So I took my wine glass and I threw it on myself. I said, will you shut up now? And he just laughed. And I knew then we were going to get along okay. Because he was competitive. And then on the financial side, we all know that he's a wheeler dealer. And so when I went back to San Antonio and they hired me there, I got a 5-year contract at X, and it went up $50,000 each year. And I said, well, I got to go home and talk to my wife, and I got a couple calls to make. And of course, Nellie was the call. And so I told him the deal. He said, so what are you going to do? I said, I'm loving being at Golden State, but it is a pretty good offer and deal and all that. He said, you big dummy, Papo, you're going back there, and this is how you're going to do it. You call that committee, and you say, add $50,000 to my first year, and then from there, $50,000 on top of that. So in the end, after 5 years, you will have made $250,000 more, and that'll pay for your house. But that's how he thought. And so I said, okay. So I went back and I made the phone call, and I know I was like a 12-year-old. I was wondering, I thought maybe if you guys could, and the gentleman on the other end of the phone, he said, what do you want? And I finally spit it out. In 2 seconds, he said, okay. And I remembered what Nellie told me. They already offered you the job. They're not going to start over again and get somebody else. So just do it. And so I did it. And that's the other side of him that I think we all know about. But for me, that was pretty special. And like Coach Harris, he's come along and saved me a couple of times, especially when I went out there the first time. I didn't really know Don Nelson except for passing by him once in 1988. I think it was in Cologne, Germany, at the Final Four for Europe or some tournament. I don't remember what. But I had just gotten to San Antonio with Larry Brown as an assistant, and I begged our general manager, Bob Bass, to let me go to Europe. I guaranteed him there was 1 million players over there, as good or better than a lot of the NBA guys. And so they let me go, And there was this one lunchroom where everybody would meet for some reason. But coaches, but there weren't many from the NBA. There were very few, but Nelly was there. And he was looking at everybody, and I knew I was in the right place. So I spent all my time, I was trying to convince Sharunas Marciulionis to come to San Antonio, and at the time I could speak a little Russian still. And so I was busting my butt to do this. I even went to his room. It was like a spy. I was trying to do this. And somehow or another, the word got back to Nelly. And the next day at the lunchroom, I didn't know him. Why would he know me? And we just walked by each other, and he bent down. He goes, "Young fella, you got no shot." and it took me a while, and I figured out what he was talking about. And I went back to Sharunas, and he said, "Yeah," he goes, "I'm going to Golden State." He says, "I'm all locked up. That's where I'm going." And I said, "Well, good luck." And he obviously had a great career with all you guys. But that's all I knew about Nelly. That was it. So after 4 years in San Antonio as an assistant, Larry Brown went to the Clippers. And I decided I wasn't going to go to LA. So I just went home. And my wife said, "What are we going to do?" And I said, "I do not know, but I'll figure it out." And that same day, I get a call from Don Nelson. He wants me to come out to Golden State and meet with some people and talk basketball. And I said yes. So I came out, and we all hit it off pretty good. And he dragged me in his office the next day, put on the film. And he said, "Tell me what you see here. Tell me what's going on. Tell me the good and the bad." So we did the film for a couple hours, and he offered me the job to be with Donnie and Paul Pressey there at Golden State. And those were my 2 happiest years in the NBA. And again, I apologize for the wins, but all of us who have half a brain know the coaches don't have the wins. We get credit, that kind of thing, but it was hard to lose with Tim and Tony and Manu and David in his twilight. It's hard to lose those games. So if I was such a good coach, I should have been undefeated during all that time. But I thank Nelly for all that. And again, like Coach Harris said, he does those things for everybody because his heart is bigger than the moon, and it's as soft as marshmallows when you get to know him. That's who he was to me. Thank you, Daddy.
Golden State was a very special place, and Larry Harris, thank you for coming out. Larry Riley, I know you're out there. You got run TMC here. That's where Pop and I first met and started working together. We also have lots and lots of coaches. Mike Dunleavy, thank you. Really appreciate you coming out. And we'll hear from Rick Carlisle later. So thank you, and special round of applause for Rosie, Del Harris, Greg Popovich.
this life but gold. I'll fly away like a bird from prison bars and flow. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joy will never end. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away.
Katie, Donnie.
This is my youngest sister, Katie Nelson.
Nagel. Oh, good morning. Thank you all so much for being here today to help us celebrate our beloved dad. We are overwhelmed by this outpouring of love from all of you, his friends and his fans, people who have come from all over the country. We're grateful you are here to celebrate his big, beautiful life. My dad was truly one of a kind. Those of you who know it know that's true. Know him, know that's true. From duct-taped shoes to fish ties. He graduated from the University of Iowa. Go Hawkeyes. And at the age of 71, he walked in cap and gown with the senior class. More than 30 of us were there to cheer him on. My dad was the hardest worker I know. As a kid, I remember when he played for the Boston Celtics. Who can forget his trademark one-handed free throw shot? Or his historic game-winning shot that won the championship against the Lakers in 1969. That shot hit the back of the rim, went 10 feet in the air, and then swished through the net at the buzzer. If you remember that, you're showing your age. In the off-season, to prepare for training camp, he would often go on these 10 to 12-mile runs, and he would come home exhausted. One day as a little girl, I asked him, "Why, Dad?" He said that he had to work twice as hard because he didn't have the natural ability that the other guys had. And did he work hard? These are great qualities I admired in my dad, but my favorite thing about him was his generosity toward others. He grew up along the Mississippi River, the son of a hog farmer, and he went to a one-room schoolhouse with 7 kids in 6 different grade levels, and 2 of them were his sisters. As a former teacher, I would not want to do those lesson plans. The coach at Rocky High saw this tall, lanky farm kid, and he gave him a chance. 4 years later, he was a star player at the University of Iowa, and he was contacted by the Celtics, by Red Auerbach, for a tryout before he graduated from school. With his hard work came success, and he often used his resources to help others. I have heard countless stories of the lives he has touched and transformed with his generosity, going way back to the Milwaukee Bucks, where he started the Farm Fund with my sister Chris. And he drove a tractor across the state of Wisconsin to raise money for farmers driven into bankruptcy. Most recently, the tragedy of the, of the Lahaina fires tore at his heart. He and Joy opened their vacation rentals to those who had lost their homes. Along with my sister Lee, they packed and distributed meals to many, many people. When he heard that people needed shoes, he contacted Nike, but he screwed up the order. Instead of the children's shoes they were expecting, huge NBA-sized basketball shoes showed up, all the way up to size 19. He has been generous with his children, all 7 of us, providing us with college educations and always being the first to help out in our times of need. Sorry. But the best gift that my dad ever gave me happened 3 weeks ago. While caring for him after his stroke, I realized that he would not sleep. Night after night, he grew more and more tired and weak. And finally, he told me why. He said, "I'm afraid to close my eyes because I might never wake up again." With tears in my eyes, I said, "Dad, if you have Jesus in your heart, you don't have to be afraid anymore. You will wake up in a paradise even more beautiful than Maui, and Grammy Nelson will be there, and your friends and your loved ones who went before you." "Don't you want this, Dad?" And he said, "Yes, Jesus is my man. Jesus is my homeboy." So like him. It was shortly after this that he trusted Jesus as his Lord and Savior. And he gave me
Del, you had been working on him his whole career. Katie closed the deal.
And my dad gave me the greatest gift he could ever give me, the assurance that I will see him again in heaven. From hog farmer's son to NBA Hall of Fame coach. Now that's a big deal. Nope, I'm not done. Leave it to my brother to screw it up, right?
That's my specialty.
I'll try it again. From hog farmer's son to NBA Hall of Fame coach. Now that's a big deal. But from sinner to saved for eternity. Now that is priceless. I love you, Papa, and I will see you again.
Katie, so beautiful. Friends, I invite you to stand as we join in singing together Amazing Grace. The words are printed for you in the bulletin.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already known. 'Twas Christ that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me on. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've known this days to sing God's praise. Then when we first begun.
Amen. Friends, you may be seated. When we were putting the program together, we really wondered who was capable of following that moment. And Donnie said there's only one person. That's Coach Rick Carlisle. So, Coach, the floor is yours.
What a seismic day. I've been asked to chronicle Nelly's Boston years. Found out some things last night that I was not aware of. He was actually drafted in the 1962 draft by the Chicago Zephyrs. Played a year for the Zephyrs. I looked at the stats, looked like he had a pretty good year. And then the Zephyrs were moving to Baltimore to become the Baltimore Bullets. They decided that he wasn't in their plans. They put him on waivers, and so he ended up with the Lakers. He had a good year with the Lakers, and then the second year with the Lakers, he only averaged 6 minutes a game. Not really sure what happened there. But I presume that at the end of that year with the Lakers, he was a free agent and was looking for work. And the way Donnie described it last night, he was picking up odd jobs and doing manual labor and thought that he was going to join the workforce. And then the Boston Celtics, John Havlicek had talked to Red Auerbach about this guy from Iowa who he played against when he was in the Big Ten playing for Ohio State, named Don Nelson, who he thought was a good player and very solid and this, that, and the other. So he ended up getting to Boston. That's how he got to Boston in the fall of 1965. 66 and 67, they won 66, 68, and 69, they won championships. In 11 years, he was sixth man some of the time, starter a lot of the time, five-time champion, as I mentioned. Averaged 10 points, 5 rebounds. Number 19 is retired in the rafters of Boston Garden. In the 1969 Game 7 that Katie alluded to was the infamous if you're a Laker fan, balloon game. Owner Jack Kent Cooke had put up on the rafters thousands of balloons, just presuming that it was the Lakers' time and the Lakers were just going to win the game. And the way the story goes, and Red actually told me this one time when I was on the team, because I had read about this. Nelly hits the shot, ends up with the ball towards the end of the shot clock, shoots a shot right in the guy's face, and as Katie mentioned, the ball hits the back of the rim, goes straight up in the air, a lot like Halliburton's shot last year, and went straight into the basket, and that basically sealed the game. and the way the story goes is that Red ran into Jack Kent Cooke out in the hallway, and he said, "You can keep the balloons, but I'll buy the champagne from you." And Nelly was more than a role player. He was part of 5 championships over really 2 significant eras. And the way he's characterized when you research him is he was a guy that was trusted implicitly by Red Auerbach and Bill Russell. In 1974-75, at age 34, he shot 53.9% from the field, which led the NBA, and at that time it was considered an extraordinary feat for a forward in the NBA. He was characterized as an elite role player of the Russell dynasty, whose longevity and clutch value were absolutely enormous. When you talk about his impact on coaching, I think seismic is an appropriate word. Everyday terms today like small ball, stretch big, point forward, positionless, cross-matching, multiple zone looks. These are all common terms today. Nelly invented this stuff, and it wasn't like he invented it a few months or a few years before everybody else figured out that this is the way the game should go. He was decades ahead of everyone. And in the history of human innovation, oftentimes the savant thinkers come up with something very simple and take it to levels that none of us could have ever dreamed. In Nelly's case, it was the game that they used to play with the Celtics, bigs against the smalls. And so, Nelly shared this when we presented him with the Chuck Daly Lifetime Achievement Award last year, that in those games, the small guys were always winning because they were faster and they could shoot. And as he started his coaching career in Milwaukee, there were some tough times, so he had to dig into his resourcefulness, and that hit him as something that could really be a game changer. And so he developed this in the 70s, and this is, again, decades before anyone else. Coaching against Nelly always elicited what I would call very high cortisol and stress levels because, in coaching, you're always trying to get your team prepared for something. And his teams were always unpredictable. You didn't know whether you could play your bigs. You knew you were going to see some kind of defense you'd never seen before. Probably something invented in a huddle. He created such angst for the opposing team and the opposing coach. Matchups were a nightmare. For example, not only would you have to guard Nash or Hardaway or Mitch or Mullin or one of these guys, but your guys would be coming down the floor, and then all of a sudden, Nelly's got Tim Hardaway guarding your center, who's not a good post-up player, and your players are going, hey, there's a little guy on our center, we got to get him the ball. And everybody's all messed up. And so this kind of chaos was going on all the time. There was always stuff going on with the officials. I mean, you're trying to get the officials' attention to, this is an illegal defense. What are they doing over here? And meanwhile, Nelly's got the officials so distracted himself that there's just no way everybody can possibly function. One game, and this might be the favorite thing I've ever seen. I was a head coach, probably in my 5th year. We were playing at Golden State. And this is about 30 seconds before the ball's being thrown up for the game to start. And all of a sudden I see Nelly look over at me. He's like this. He's like, and he starts walking over. And you know how Nelly walks. It's kind of like this. And he says, JR may not play tonight. This is before the days where you had to put the lineups in 30 minutes before the game, and there was no, antics or anything. These weren't really antics. This stuff was legal. You could do this stuff. And I said, Nelly, he's right there. And now we had spent the majority of our scouting stuff on Jason Richardson. And I said, Nelly, he's right there. And he's dressed. He goes, well, I said maybe. And so like, what? And so the game starts going, and once again, everybody's distracted. And as it turns out, the things that I'm most in awe of with Nelly, obviously the all-time NBA record for ejections was 79. I tried to research it to see, who was second. But it's dicey, trying to figure out. So I looked up Pop's stats, and this is one of the things that tells you that there's flaws with AI. It said that Pop probably had only probably around 18 to 22 ejections. I know that that's not true. In fact, one of the things that did get documented from my research was that Pop had the quickest ejection of all time, 63 seconds. In a game against Denver in March of 2019. So there's that. Another thing I was in awe of, Nelly's kindness to young coaches. When I came in the early 2000s, there were other young coaches. Doc Rivers was a young guy. Mo Cheeks was a young guy. Scott Skiles was a young guy. Nelly treated us all like peers, and he didn't have to do that. This guy was 20 years our senior. He was already a living legend, but that kindness, I think he knew it would help the game eventually, and it gave us a great deal of confidence. The third thing, impact on international players coming over to the NBA. Now, I was privy over the years to have a lot of conversations with Donnie, some pretty private, some after a few drinks. I heard stories about the stuff that went on with Marshall Lunas. I mean, we're talking about Cuban Missile Crisis, smoke-filled room, stuff where you're looking toe-to-toe with the Soviet Union at that time. But these guys stood firm that these players should be allowed to come to the best league in the world. And look, it started with Sarunas, who Pop was talking about. And then somehow these guys convinced the world that Dirk, after going for 35 points and 16 rebounds in that game in San Antonio, they got Holger to tell everybody that he wasn't going to come over for 2 years. And so that allowed them to trade down in the draft and get Dirk. It was just It's just an absolutely insane thing. And so just think about it. Right now, there's 25 to 30% of the NBA are international players. Had these guys not done what they did and stood firm and fought for those guys, it may be 6 to 8% or something like that. So they had a massive impact on today's game that way. The last thing, the ability to cultivate greatness out of guys. We have some guys sitting in the front row here that had, I don't think I'm speaking out of school saying that they had modest beginnings to their careers. Steve, Finn, Mully. I don't know about you, Rich. Mitch, you were always going to be a star. Timmy, you were put in a system that turned you into a monster right away. But Nelly just had a knack for doing this. And I'll give you another example. I mean, Dirk is another example, a living example that we all know and love and remember. Jack Sikma was another guy. When he was in Milwaukee, Jack was one of the first guys at the center position that started shooting threes. And, Jack was a 4 or 5-time All-Star at that point in his career. Shooting the three got him to 6 or 7 All-Star appearances, which eventually got him to the Hall of Fame. So, these were not guys that Nelly was just turning into good players. These guys were becoming All-Stars, MVPs, and Hall of Famers. And Donnie, where are you at? Right over there, okay? I just want to say something. I just want to say something here, and I just really believe everybody in this room today knows how much you loved your dad. And we also know how proud he was of you. You inherited his genius, you inherited his creativity, his brains, and love for the game. And I saw Mark walked in here a few minutes ago. I just want to say that I had the privilege for 13 years here in Dallas to work alongside two of the greatest minds who collaborated in ways that were just unbelievable for me to watch during that period of time. And I'm so grateful, and I know that Nelly had a great impact on both of you guys. So as I wrap this thing up, 45 years in the NBA, a seismic career. I want to make sure I say this the right way. Nelly left all of us better than he found us, and he left the NBA game a hell of a lot better than he found it. Nelly, rest in peace, my friend. Thank you.
Okay, so in the true Nelly fashion, Coach, in the spirit of Red Auerbach and Willie Nelson, this is from Nelly's personal stash. I got no idea what you're getting into.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see
hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. I think to myself, what a wonderful
Beautiful. I want to welcome Sydney Moncrief and Paul Pressey, Bucks legends. Come up to the middle. It is your ball now. Come on up. Apostle Paul. Speak at this one. Yeah. Thanks.
Good evening. Am I going first or are you going first? That don't matter. I got 10 minutes, you got 3. I'm big, guys, on relationships. I really am. And if you just look around in this room, we're all connected. And it's through Nellie. We're connected. Somehow we're connected. I mean, I can look around, even some of the players, because I was a teammate and coached Tim Hardaway, Chris Mullin. I coached Nash. I mean, when you look around and think about relationships, X and O's are easy. But to build relationships, I got drafted in 1982, and I first met Don Nelson as a rookie. That's when my relationship started. And from that point on, he was trying to figure out how he can fit me in with Sidney Moncrief, Marcus Johnson, Bob Lanier, and et cetera. When I think back with some of the relationships he had with the players, me being the only rookie on the team, I think one year Junior Bridgman, God bless him, rest in peace, was struggling a little bit shooting. He was a shooter. And Nellie just came over and said, hey, JB, hey, don't worry about it. Just keep working on it and keep shooting. You shot your way in it, shoot your way out of it. And that's what he did. But the relationship, I'm going to say it again, the relationship that you put into players, into people, into your wife, your children, your grandchildren, when you build that relationship, Don Nelson built relationships in us when I first got to Milwaukee. Right off, and I didn't know it. Being a rookie, I'm just trying to play ball, trying to win. It's so important if we embrace in our lives and understand what Don Nelson instilled in us in the basketball game. Okay, you got a bad game, Chris, you go home. I didn't. You don't take your game home to your family, but it's part of your family. So you got to change gears with your relationship with your family. And Don Nelson helped me and all of us to a degree in bed and learning how to deal with relationships. Relationships are so important in our lives with our children and our mates, our grandchildren, our friends. To me, relationships are sadness, are hurts, or cries. It's an emotional roller coaster. But it's how do you respond afterwards? Don Nelson taught me how to respond when I didn't have a good game. He always pushed me. He wanted me to be like Sid. Sid was a boom, 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 boom. I was a da-da-da, da-da-da, boom, da-da-da, da-da-da, boom. And I never forget, and Mitch, you can appreciate this, Garrett St. Jean, who was Nellie's assistant coach, saved me from Nellie. I think I played like 12 minutes one night. I'm a rookie. And at that time, Nelly didn't play rookies. And Sid can attest to that.
He played me.
Well, I was the exception. And I said, at the end of the day, Saney said, hey, after the game was over, I think I played 12 minutes. He says, Nelly goes in the back with a beer and a cigarette. And, you need, Saney, you need to get that rookie in gear. You need to get him going. You need to get to moving. He said, hold on, wait a minute, Nelly, wait a minute. Did you see the stat sheet on Rook? No, I don't want to see no stat sheet. He said, well, look, Rook played 12 minutes, had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and no turnovers. Well, I don't care. I don't want to see that no more. Just get it out of my face. But again, he instilled in me trust, and he believed in me, and the relationship started from that point on. I think the second year or so, he gave me the ball and said, hey, you're my point forward. And again, relationships. And Sid, like I said, I was the only rookie. Sidney, Marcus, Bob Lanier, Harvey Catchings, Junior Bridgman, Brian Winters, all those guys' relationships was already in place. I had to try to figure out how to be part of that relationship. So I say to you and end it in this way. Continue to understand what Nelly has done for us, all of us, in our relationship, not just basketball, but in our household, how relationships really works and how it changes lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sis, I got 5 more. No.
No. Well, good morning. How are we doing today? Yeah, Nelly was really special. Nelly was a genius. He was really a genius. And who coached with Nelly? Raise your hand. Well, the worst words you could ever hear is, hey, guys, I was watching film last night, and I think we will try this today. If you hear that, it's not good. Mike Dunleavy, you remember this? Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, Sidney Moncrief, Defensive Player of the Year. Dale, you probably had something to do with this. They decided I could not guard Jordan, which is accurate. And they said, well, why don't we try Sidney? Michael likes to go, he goes left or right, but he really had a partial strong, he likes his right hand. So we're going to have Dunleavy. We want you to sit at the free throw line. Sidney, I want you to bump Michael, send him to Mike Dunleavy. Mike, you're going to double Michael Jordan, and we're going to make him pass the ball. 50 points later, 0 points later. You remember that? He scores 19 in the fourth quarter. He scores 19 in the fourth quarter.
Mike, get up here. We're going to do an audible. Get your ass up here. We want to hear the real story.
Yeah, well, all I know, Mike, I was kind of watching TV, and they have these YouTube highlights, and they said the title was Michael Jordan Destroys Defensive Player of the Year, Sidney Moncrief for 50. Didn't have your name anywhere there. And I took, but he would come up with these ideas that were really to us. We were like, if we heard that, I was watching film. We said, oh no, don't watch film. And then Steve Nash, he had one for you when you went to Phoenix. Remember that? You went to Phoenix and we were playing Phoenix, and he said, okay, we're gonna just let Nash score the basketball. That's what he said. Let him score. At some point, he's going to get tired of. Now, Nelly knew something that most people don't know. If you are a scorer, and Nash was definitely a scorer, but if you're not used to scoring 40, 50 points, it's really hard mentally to just keep shooting. He didn't realize that Nash was still upset at the Mavericks. Marky was still upset at the Mavericks. I think he got 40 or 50, but at the end of the day, we won the game. So Nelly was always thinking about the end goal, which was winning the basketball game. Didn't matter how crazy he was telling us things we needed to do. We trusted him so much, though, that we executed what he ask her to execute, which in this case, Michael got 50 on you.
That was
Is that true, Mike?
well, that was the easy part. 50 on me.
Yeah, 50 on you. Well, 50 on me was pretty easy also, obviously.
Hey, Steve, you're in good company. He had the same game plan for Michael Jordan.
Yeah, well, for this, I coached Finley, coached Nash and Dirk, and for that group, Dale and Donnie, we had to spend a lot of time on our defensive schemes. Dale became a genius, and so did Donnie, on trying to create things. But I like to say Nelly was just fun to play for. And if a player have never played from a coach, they say, wow, I love playing for that coach. Nelly was the one. Because he let you play. He tweaked here and there to made you better as a basketball player. And then you can always depend on what he was telling you. And I'm going to end this like I would always end every conversation with Nelly. I would say, Nelly, I love you, man. Always. Thank you.
Mike, how are you?
Well, my first introduction to Nelly was via Dale Harris. The year before, I had played for the San Antonio Spurs. I led the NBA in three-point shooting and had a contract dispute. I mean, the year before, I bet $100,000 of my contract that I would help the Spurs in wins only. And so I started making $100,000, and if they won 44 the year before, at 48, I'd make $200,000. At 56, I'd make $300,000. Okay? Well, we win 54, and they got to pay me $290, so it worked out pretty well in that regard. Lost to the Lakers in the finals of the West in 6 games. Angelo Drosos, the owner, says, I want the same deal. I'm like, dude, I took all the risk. Okay, I just led the NBA in three-point shooting. We went to the finals of the West against the Lakers. Okay, not a chance. I can make more money on Wall Street. So I quit. I go to Wall Street. It's the first week in March, and I go out to lunch with my boss, and he says, so like, you're a young guy. I know you want to play like another 5-6 years in the NBA. What happens if one of these teams calls you? The guy's name was Charlie Sweeney. I said, you know, Charlie, you're paying me more than I'm worth. I mean, I would never leave you. He goes, what are you, nuts? He said, you can have this job anytime you want it. I'm like, seriously? I said, well, you know what? If the Knicks or Nets call me, it'd be great for business. Otherwise, Lakers, Celtics, Sixers, or Bucks. The next week, I get a call from the Lakers and the Bucks. I think it was Tiny Archibald Torres' Achilles. You know, he had a 60-win season. And I get on the phone, and Nelly says to me, he goes, so Mike, Del Harris, who Del coached, I played for Del in 3 different decades, says to me that I should bring you in because you played on 2 Final Four teams in the last 3 years. I said, wow, that's great. He goes, what kind of shape are you in? I said, Nelly, I'm in great shape. I'm always in great shape. He goes, oh, good, good, good. How often do you play? I say, well, I play at the Y on the weekends. Pause, silence. I say, do you still want me? And he goes, I guess. Thursday morning, next morning, I get on a plane to Milwaukee. Now, I'm a player rep in the NBA. I kind of know the rules and what's going on. Nelly brings me straight to practice, no contract, no nothing. And I'm like, I don't really care. Like, you know, if I play, you just pay me what I'm worth. That's what I would be happy with, okay? I start in practice. I go up and down the floor a couple of times. I kind of feel like I'm running in cement a little bit, but I'm making shots. And we come out of the practice. I sign a contract. He goes, you know, I'm going to play you tomorrow night against the Celtics. I'm like, okay. I come off the bench, hit my first 3 shots, two twos and a 3 or whatever, and Tuesday I'm starting the last, 19, 20 games of the season. And I'm playing up with Sid and all these guys who really know how to play, and it was probably the most fun time I ever had playing the game, just by playing it the right way. And we lose to the Celtics in the finals of the East. And I averaged like 14 a game. We go, you know, back then you didn't fly in planes. Go to the bar after, you know, the hotel bar at Nelly after the game. He goes, so Mike, you want to be back with us? I said, yeah. He goes, so, what would you want? And I always try to think I'd be fair. So I went 2 years guaranteed, $250 a year. He goes, nah, $175. I'm like, Nelly, I'm worth $250. He goes, hell, you're worth $300. And I'm like, I'm like, what? How do we get to the 175? He goes, look, I know you'll always play hard. Doesn't matter. Some of these other guys got to pay them a little more to play hard. I'm like, wrong answer. I go back to Wall Street, sitting at my desk at Merrill Lynch. Oh, and back in the day, with most of us, we never played under unrestricted free agency. I was always restricted free agency, so you never got your true value. Sitting at my desk at Merrill Lynch, I get a call from Banco de Roma, European champion. They're putting in the three-point line, okay? They fly me over. I meet the Pope. I go to the bank. They show me places I can live in town, out of town, and they offer me a lot of money. So on Monday morning, I call up Nelly. I said, guess what, Nelly? Price of poker just went up. He matched the deal, and I went, back with the Bucks. I mean, I love my time. But from there, I hurt my back, stopped playing. But the only reason that I went into the NBA and coaching was because of Don Nelson. Sitting in New York, I go to games. I see, I go to Madison Square Garden, I watch a game, Cleveland, whoever. Nelly, I see you playing these guys, and this is what they do. Here's what you should do. He goes, what are you doing? You're wasting your time there. You need to come coach with me. And I kept saying, yeah, bad back. Anyway, but every time Nelly came to New York, I'd go to the games. We'd go out to dinner after the games with Gary, St. Jean, and all the guys. And finally, one night, we were in New Jersey, out in Piscataway, or wherever we were, and he says to me, this guy is leaving to go become the head coach at Ball State, Rick Majerus. The last time I'm going to ask you to come coach. And I said, you know what? Oddly enough, I just got my first bonus at Merrill Lynch. I think I proved to myself I could do something other than basketball. I want to come. And so that was it. I'm going to the Milwaukee Bucks to be Don Nelson's assistant coach until he goes to Golden State. All of a sudden, the curveball, and what happened was is that he wasn't going to coach. Dell got the job as coach, and Dell offered me the same job, so I went with Dell. But forever, years and years, we were really tied, and I had that same, Sydney, the same call from Nelly when I hurt my back. He's like, so Mike, why don't you come by the house and we can watch film tonight? So anyway, he's the best. Rest in peace. I love you, man.
Mike Dane-Levy, Sidney Moncrief, and Paul Pressey.
Thank you. Johnny, you got to introduce Run TMC. Yeah. No, just introduce them. We need you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Timmy, Mitch, and Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, Run TMC.
I guess I'll start.
You wanted to start.
Well,
that's what you just said.
I mean, but you, okay, whatever.
That's what you just said.
I did say that. I did say that. I did say that. Okay. Well, I want to start with a story first. Just like Sidney said that he didn't play, rookies, and so that's all I heard when I went to Golden State, that he doesn't play rookies, and he did play Sidney. And so I'm like, man, I'm going to play. At some point in time, I'm going to play. But he did end up playing me. But I can remember my rookie year, we were playing on defense, and me and Chris was supposed to switch. We came together, and Chris didn't switch. And my man scored, and Nelly ran and walked down the sideline, ran with me while I was running back, saying, switch, play some defense. And I said, that wasn't my fault. It was Chris. He didn't switch. And he called the timeout. You know how he calls the timeout. He calls the timeout. And I was scared to death. I'm like, oh, God. All right. So he met me at half court. And he began to say some choice words to me all the way back to the bench. I went to the end of the bench and I said, I don't think I'm ever going to play again. And that was the first quarter. So the second quarter came, I didn't get in the game. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? So halftime, he's still cussing me out. We go back in the third quarter. He put me back in. I played pretty well, and we won the game. But he still wasn't done with me. We go back after the game, and he's still going off on me, and he said, "You know what? You think you know it all? You're going to coach the team tomorrow." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Me? Like, you're going to coach the team?" I said, "Okay, I'll coach the team tomorrow." So we come to practice. I didn't see Nelly. So I grabbed a cup like he always have and put me something in there. You know what I mean? And I tend to go and I start doing what Nelly would do, going around telling guys, you need to rebound a little better than you did last night. You know what I mean? You need to play some defense, you know what I'm saying? You need to listen and look at some film. And I'm just going through it, and the guys are practicing and doing their thing, and I'm just having a great time. Everybody's laughing, everybody's having a good time, and I think it was Tom Abner came up to me and say, "Nelly is in the stands at the top looking at you." I'm like, oh my God. So I remember putting that cup down, getting back in line, and start practicing. I'm like, man, I gotta get back to practice. So, you know, that was Nelly, you know, and he kept you on edge. He challenged you. He tested you. But at the end of the day, he was trying to make you better. Nelly was the man who drafted me. He gave me the first opportunity in the NBA. He believed in me. He coached me. He pushed me. And then, after 3 years, he traded me. You know? So I'm going to tell you the truth. I didn't forgive him for that for a long time. And Nelly knew it. Our relationship got a little rocky after that. But that's the funny thing about life. And you get older, you start seeing things a little differently. You start understanding people differently. And sometimes life goes and gives you opportunities, and life comes full circle. Years later, Nelly and I had the opportunity to work together again. This time I wasn't a player. I was in the front office of the Golden State Warriors. We brought Nelly back, and he was the only coach can really coach the team that we had. It was that We Believe team. He was the only coach that can do it. We had similar players like when we played, and he was the only coach that can do it. And during that time, I got a chance to see Nelly a little differently. I really did. But as a basketball, not just as a coach, but he traded me. I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous. Yeah, I got it.
That was, by the way, Mitch, the biggest regret of his career was that trade. Yes. So I'm just telling us, truth be told.
Thank you. All right. And that's when I really came to appreciate how brilliant this man was. Nelly saw the game before the rest of us saw it. He wasn't afraid to do something just because nobody else was doing it. He played small. He created mismatches. He wanted the game fast. He wanted the floor open, and he wanted you to play free. And he trusted his players to make plays. Back then, some people thought Nelly was crazy, and I did too. No question about it. But you look at basketball today, everybody is playing Nelly's game. The thing he was doing all those years ago, teams are still trying to duplicate that today. That's why, Jesus, okay, hit my thing here. Oh my God. I'm coming. Oh my God. But that's why, I'm going to put it in my pocket. Forget it. I'm not saying it right. But I really appreciate it, Coach, because anytime I talk to a young player all the things that I've learned from Coach, all the things I learned from basketball came a lot from his philosophies. And I just got to say, man, he was the most brilliant coach I have ever played for. And I appreciate for him drafting me. I had a great opportunity and a great career after that. But all the things that I learned, I took that. And with the team that I played, I took all those same, traits and philosophies, and I tried to implement them in some of the teams that I played. So I appreciate Don Nelson, and we're going to miss him. And I thank you guys for inviting me. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man, that was a great speech, by the way, Mitch. All right. First of all, I want to thank you all for coming. Appreciate you. Miss Joy, love you. Nice seeing you. Miss you. We got a bunch of stories to tell, and all of them are, well worth the telling. But, Nelly, when he brought me on to the Golden State Warriors, I didn't know I was going there. And when Pop talked about, he told him advice to get, 50,000 here to get 250,000 there. He took lottery money away from me. I'm going to tell you how he took lottery money away from me, all right? I was supposed to be a lottery pick. He called Minnesota and he called Indiana, and they trusted him. And he told them I had bad knees. He told them I had bad knees. But the weekend before the draft, I supposed to have went to Oakland, and it was a typhoon at O'Hare Airport. I couldn't get out. I was there for 12 hours. I couldn't get out. So I knew I was not going to Golden State. I knew that. Nelly told them people that I had bad knees, and he ended up picking me. I was like, I said, Henry, God rest his soul. I said, Hank, man, where'd this come from? He said, I don't know. It just came out of nowhere. So as soon as I got to Golden State, got off the plane, first of all, I did not know Nelly was 6'7", 6'8". So when I saw him, I was like, oh, Jesus. Because I was going to have a little bit of choice words for him. But when I saw him, I was like, yeah, this is not going to work. That's not going to work. But he came out and said, yo, I lied for you, right? I said, yeah, you took money out of my pocket. He was like, yeah, but it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. Because I got you playing against two of the greatest basketball players in the world right now, Chris Mullin and Mitch Richmond. I said, yeah, I saw him on TV. But I said, man, I still was a lottery pick. He's like, I know. He said, but you know what? Take care of your money because it goes fast. I said, I could have, but he said, just take care of your money, but it goes fast. But you're going to be playing with the two greatest basketball players in the world right now. And he came in, and oh yeah, by the way, Sidney, he played me my rookie year too. I got big minutes. I got another story to tell about this guy right here. He talking about switching and stuff. We playing the Chicago Bulls. This is what he does. He gets the ball. He went like this. Go ahead, I got it. Against MJ. I said, all right. I said, you got it? He said, yeah, I got it. I'm running down the court. Next thing I heard is boom. I said, what happened? Don Nelson, time out. Oh, Lord. The words he told me. But the first thing he said, do not never, ever ever let him dribble the ball up the court against nobody. I said, all right, and that was the last time I got them choice words anytime. But I tell you this, he brought our team together each and every day. We loved playing for him. We had a great time playing for him. We talk about how innovative he was. I always say this. They always say another coach, another coach, another coach. I always say Don Nelson was the first person to bring small ball into the NBA. And it started with the Milwaukee Bucks when I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, watching Terry Cummings bring the ball up, watching them guys play the way they play. And he has a legacy that will never be forgotten, and we always appreciate him. We appreciate you all. We appreciate you, Donnie. And, man, we going to miss a really good guy that did a lot of things for not only basketball, but just for people. Love you, Nelly.
Good job, Tim. I'm amazed that all these different decades and the stories are similar. How much Nelly impacted our lives, both on and off the floor, his innovation, creativity. And Nelly, we had a very diverse relationship because I played for Nelly for 7 years. Then I worked with him when he came back to coach the Warriors. So I saw a lot of different versions of Nelly. The first off basketball topic, Nelly, obviously his position as basketball, his global scouting, he did so much. But I just realized I'm like in Nelly's uniform. Nelly was the first guy, and Rick, I don't know if Rick Carlisle's still here, because the coaches now they wear their quarter zips and their sweatsuits and they feel so good about themselves. 1985, Nelly had a huge fight with the NBA because he wanted to wear sneakers, and they were going to fine him. He put tape on his sneakers, on his Converse shoes, and he's like, "This is ridiculous. Why do I got to wear dress shoes on a basketball court?" So, Rick, your coaches can thank Nelly for that. He had the fish ties and the sneakers, but he had such an impact on my life. Basketball-wise, for sure. We had a nice dinner last night, and I mentioned he saw my lowest point, and he took me to my highest point in my career. And all the things that Sidney mentioned, and Rick Carlisle, Mitch and Tim, I echo those sentiments. But he had a deeper meaning to me. When Nelly came to, the Bucks were sold. The owners from the Bucks bought the Warriors, Dan Fernand and Jim Fitzgerald. Nelly came on board initially as a GM. End of '87 season, I was struggling off the court, drinking too much. So I met with the then GM, Don Nelson, at the Hilton in Oakland. And I was, like any good alcoholic, in denial, and said, "Hey, we'll just have a nice little meeting." Nelly called me out. "You're a disaster, you're this, you're that." And we had like an acrimonious meeting. He said, "Well, quit drinking for 30 days if you don't have a problem." Like any good alcoholic, I said, "No problem." I went out that night, went back to New York. When I came back that next season, I couldn't hold it together. I started missing practices. So December 13, 1987, I went into rehab. While I'm in rehab, Nelly GM is trading everybody away. So I'm in there getting my life together, checking the transactions, and he's running small forwards in the Golden State like crazy. So ironically, I'm in Centinela Hospital, a stone's throw from the Forum. I fly back to Oakland. I did my 40 days, feeling good about myself. I get off a Southwest flight. I'll never forget this, like Southwest flight. I got a red beard. I haven't shaved. I'm, going to get back in shape. The Warriors team is in the same gate. They're getting on the flight to LA. I'm getting off. And I look at everybody. This guy said, "Okay, all these guys, I got to go take their jobs." So Nelly impacted me going to rehab, but more importantly, he was there when I came out. We had 20 games left. He said, "I want to see what you got. Go out there and just play with reckless abandon." He gave me the confidence to do that. I had a decent finish to the season, but erratic. I had games where I get 20 points, 6 assists, 9 turnovers. But he encouraged me to let it flow, let it fly. Came back that next season, and from there on, our relationship catapulted. Not to, a lot of people in this room have championship rings. We didn't get there, but our journey was the same. The practices. Nelly had that unique ability to be focused, disciplined. You remember those training camps? We'd go 28 days, 2-a-days. That last day before opening night, one practice was the reward. But also with the freedom and the carefreeness, which is a unique thing, ability to do that. So Nelly, the impact off the floor for me is what lives with me today, more so than the wins and the losses and the points and all those other things that happen on the basketball court. So I want to echo everyone else's sentiments of love and gratitude. Joy, Donnie, the entire Nelson family, thank you for letting him impact all of our lives. So I just want to end my little talk here with the serenity prayer, because that's what Nelly really gave me beyond basketball. So God, grant me the serenity to change the things, to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And like Chris said, to me, this is not a goodbye. This is a respectful, loving tribute to a man that impacted so many of our lives. And Nelly, I love you, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Okay, so we go Run TMC. I don't know who came up with dirty, nasty, and filthy, but Steve Nash, Michael Finley, get up here. When Nelly left Golden State, he basically tried to emulate the same. So Tim Hardaway and Steve Nash, actually, Steve, remember when you met Timmy in, was it Saskatchewan? You were in high school, I think, right? British Columbia. Yeah, at a preseason game. Yeah. So Steve has got to catch a flight, so we're going to let him go first. He's going to the Hall of Fame. Mike can go first. I'll go after Mike. Okay. So we're going to get. By the way, Tony, Faye, Sarah, who came up with filthy, nasty, and dirty? Huh? Well, dirty's in Sweden, so unfortunately can't be here. Okay. All right. Mike, it's all yours.
I'm gonna put my glasses on, though. Yeah, getting old, bro. Oh, there we go. Oh, thank you, Donnie. First, I want to send my love and condolences to Nelly's family, his friends, and everyone here who loved him. When I was asked to say a few words about Coach Nelson, I started thinking about what Nelly truly meant to me. And I realized that it's almost impossible for me to tell my story of my NBA life without telling the part of his story too. You know, Nelly came into my life at a very important time. He saw something in me, he believed in me, he challenged me, and most importantly, he trusted me. You know, sometime in this game, and we all know that we've played it, you know, all the players need is the right person to believe in him at the right time. And I think my teammates Dirk and Steve can attest to this as well. For me, you know, Nelly was that person. He gave me an opportunity to grow and to become a player that I knew I could be. His confidence in me changed the trajectory of my career. He got me paid. And ultimately, he changed my life. But there was something else about Nelly that I'll never forget. You know, since Nelly has moved on, there's been a lot of viral videos going across the internet. And one of the messages, one of the videos that come across is his interaction with Karl Malone. I'm gonna tell you a little backstory on that, how that all got to that. So Nelly was telling us, a young team, that he respected the Jazz. Coach Harris can attest as well. Thought they were a good team, but he thought they were a dirty team. He thought they went right to the line of having illegal plays and legal plays. He termed them as bullies. So that particular game, if you go back, Karl Malone elbowed Sean Bradley. Legal or illegal, we don't know. So at that time, Coach Nelson thought it was the perfect time to stand up to the bully. So if you look at the video, Coach Nelson goes out to him, and it wasn't a chest bump, it was kind of like belly to chest to Karl Malone. But if you read his lips, he said, "I'm not scared of you, blank, 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 blank." And so we ended up losing the game. We're down. We go in the locker room. Nelly got ejected. We go in the locker room. The first person we see is Nelly there with his beer. And instead of talking about the game, the first thing he said to us was, "I showed that blankety blank who's the boss." but that was Nelly. But then, fast forward. Again, we're a young team trying to learn how to win. We finally end the playoff drought. And who do we face in the first round of the playoffs? The Utah Jazz. And back then, the first round was 5 games. We ended up losing the first 2 games. And we were down like, oh man, what's going on? But Nelly and his coaching staff, we had a tremendous scheme. They were super confident. Like, they was like, oh, we're good. We'll go back to Dallas, win those 2. And Nelly's like, you guys will get me back to Salt Lake and we're going to party. So we're looking around like, sounds good. 0-2, down 0-2 to Karl Malone, John Stockton. It's not looking good. But come back to Dallas. We win that game 3. Game 4 we win. And we go back to Salt Lake City. End up winning game 5, a tremendous game. Steve and Dirk had a great game. We won the game. And you talking about party, bro? These guys, we're in church, but we partied after that game like we won the championship. And I think that was the first feeling of success that the Mavericks hadn't had in a long time, and it was because of Coach Nelson, his staff, and the rest is history when it comes to the Mavs having playoff success. So I thank Nelly for that. And that was Nelly. You know, he could challenge you, he can get on you, and he can definitely drive you crazy sometimes with the bank pass. You know, he's messing up my field goal percentage because I got to do a bank pass. But when we were against somebody else, he was always standing there with us. And that's what I'll remember. Yes, Nelly was a basketball genius. Yes, he was an innovator. And he saw the game differently than anybody else. But when I think about Nelly, I think about something much more personal. I think about the man who believed in me and coached me and always had my back. And before I finish, I want to say something to Nelly's family. I know we had a special moment the other day. Thank you for sharing him with all of us. And especially thank you for sharing him with me. Because you shared him with me, I was blessed to have a coach, a mentor, and a man in my life who helped change its direction. So thank you. And I will never forget that, and I'm forever grateful. And Coach, I know you're looking down, looking at what's going on here, but I don't know if I ever fully expressed how much the belief you had in me meant to me, but I hope you knew. There are coaches you play for, there are coaches you remember, and then there are coaches who become a permanent part of your story, and Nelly was always a part of mine. So thank you, Coach, for seeing something in me. Thank you, Coach, for believing in me. Thank you, Coach, for trusting me. And thank you for always having our back. So rest easy, Nelly. And like I always told you, I really love you, man. Thank you.
Oh, my God. Get your ass over here, brother. Oh, thank you.
I would pass the ball to you, but he usually passes it to me.
Beautiful, beautiful words, my guy. First of all, to Miss Joy, Donnie, the entire family, we all hurt with you. Nelly was as we've heard from so many incredible people today, how much I've enjoyed reminiscing an incredible human being, larger than life, basketball genius, scary, and yet a teddy bear who helped a lot of people. One of those people being me, and I think the things that stand out for me are the breadth of what he meant to so many people. The game of basketball, that's an easy one. I mean, his fingerprints are all over, whether it's players, teams, decades, the rules, innovation, everything. So for someone to have that type of impact, it's one thing to have a Hall of Fame career or to Hall of Fame coaching career or to do both, but to do that and then impact the game forever and have your fingerprints all over it. Everything you watch today has something to do with Nelly, and that is astonishing. But not to be outdone by the type of heart he had and how he was always there to help people. And we've heard today how he's helped his players. And I know that he's helped a lot of people that didn't play for him, but I was one of those people that he helped. Nelly made you earn his respect. He wasn't going to give you anything. And I think that's an old school mentality that I wish our kids could face today. They had to overcome. You had to find a way. And at the same time, he didn't give up on you easily. Or if he did, you're probably not here today. But for those of us that hung in there and he believed and he worked with, he was always able to get the best out of you. I get to live this life, and people say nice things about me every day. I get to live in a great house, my parents and my kids are going to go to great colleges and all that stuff. And that is because of Nelly. That's because of Nelly. Hard work is irreplaceable, and hard work gets you there. But someone believing in you, sticking with you, showing you how to fight through hard times and come out the other side, that is irreplaceable in someone's journey to success and getting there. So for me, Nelly had the biggest impact, the coach I played for the most, I learned the most from, and the most difficult thing for me was leaving Dallas. When I left Dallas for Phoenix, I'd wanted to play the rest of my career here. Wanted to play with Mike and Dirk. We're still friends for life. We go on vacations with our families. That all started here with Nelly, and I wanted that to continue forever. I wanted to finish my career here. But it wasn't to be. Salary caps and team building and things happen, and you're not fortunate just to go down the park and play with your friends. It's a business, after all. So it was really difficult at that time, and emotionally I wasn't sure how ready I was to leave these guys and to leave my coach, who I'd played the majority of my career with. Still the coach I've played the most for. But Nelly taught me enough. He taught me enough. He gave me enough. He showed me those lessons. He helped me get through them. He helped me come out the other side. And that's all I needed to be able to go on and thrive without him. So, Nelly, I love you. You did everything for me, including challenge, push me, call me names I would never repeat in this house of the Lord. And also showed me that you can have a great time and enjoy life and make the most of it. So I love you, thank you, and condolences, and thankfully everybody here can share in some of these wonderful stories. I do have, thank you. I do have a letter from Dirk, as he lives in Sweden in the summer and his parents are going to his house for the first time this week. So he wasn't able to make the long journey, but he wanted me to say some words. And dear Coach, I've always said I would never become the player I became if it wasn't for you and everything you taught me and how you believed in me. If I could ask you one thing today, it would just be, why did you let Nash have the ball so much? I didn't need to see him dribbling the air out of it every night. Hang on, that greedy bugger. I spoon-fed him for like 6 years here. We always knew that Judas would leave for the money. I mean, I bought him 2 meals a day for 6 years. And that's the kind of thanks I get. Okay, no, this is actually Dirk's letter. I won't do the accent, but you know, I know how much he wants to be here, so I'll try to get through this in a classy manner. I really, really wish I could be there today with all of you, but I'm with my parents right now in Europe. They need me here at the moment. And I know Nelly would understand because he had such a great connection with my family and Holger, my coach, really from the jump. I think Nelly loved my dad more than he loved me. That's how quickly they hit it off. But that's really no surprise because Nelly just had an aura. I know that word gets used a lot these days, but when he came into a room, everything just lit up. He was funny, he was loud, he was always joking, no filter. He was truly one of a kind, and he was the ultimate player's coach. I don't think there was a player in the history of this game who benefited from Nelly more than me. I can still remember those first practices in Dallas when I came here for the Hoop Summit. I couldn't believe that there was an NBA coach in the gym watching me. I'm not really sure that he was allowed to be there by NBA rules. I think we got a theme going here tonight. But I could feel it from the jump. This guy and his son, Donnie, they really believed in me. They had the same vision for what I could become that Holger had. They were all convinced when I really wasn't sure what kind of player I could be at the highest level. And then once I started playing for Nelly, it eventually all clicked. Those early years with Nelly and after Mark bought the team were some of the most fun times that I've ever had in the NBA. Nelly just let us play, run up and down, play our style, lots of freedom, easy play calls. It was pick and roll or an elbow catch. His style was have guys that are skilled and let them play and create off of that. Of course, I always remember the times he got mad at me and those incredible one-liners. He's the only coach who ever cussed me out for not shooting enough. How can I forget that? Yeah, how can I forget that? The guy shot every time. How can you forget the only coach who ever told me, and I'm going to say this as politely as possible because you're all in a church, that my defense was as useless as teats on a boar hog. Except he probably didn't say teats. I mentioned this the other day, and I've probably said it 1,000 times over the years. But I'm not sure I would have ended up being the player I became without Nelly as my first coach. He wasn't going to try to bulk me up or make me play close to the basket. He saw the game differently. He wanted me shooting and passing and movement. And thankfully, I'm so fortunate that I saw the things I would be good at the NBA, that he saw the things before I saw them. He brought me to Dallas, and I owe him a ton, and I will love him forever. Donnie, Joy, everyone in the family, everyone in this room who knew and loved Nelly, please know that I'm thinking of everyone at this tough time and that I will always be as proud to have played for Nels as anything I've achieved in my career.
Okay, Steve's got to catch a flight. Steve Nash, Michael Finley, and Dirk Nowitzki from afar. So just quickly, I know a lot of Mavericks. I know we're going over time. Avery, thank you for coming. Josh Howard is out there. Eddie Nahra, Devin Harris, thank you. The great Spud Webb, Nick the Quick Van Exel, Mark, thanks for coming. That's from the bottom of our heart, man. You guys being here means the world, so thank you very much. Nelly had a very, very special spiritual gospel tune that he used to listen to in the morning that was really, had a very special place in his heart. We, just by a few miracles, Charlie McKinney, Tim Headington, a big shout out and thank you, and Will, you guys
pulled some strings and got one of Nelly's favorite performers to be here today. You guys know he's got a special bond with Michael Finley, but The River today is being performed, man, I'm getting choked up here, by Fort Worth's own Leon Bridges. A round of applause. Thank you.
Been traveling these wide roads for so long. My heart's been far from you, 10,000 miles long. Oh, I wanna come near and give every part of me, but there's blood on my hand, and my lips are unclean. In my darkness I remember Mama's words reoccur to me. Surrender to the good Lord, and He'll wipe your slate clean. Take me to your river, I wanna go. Oh, take me to your river, I wanna know. Dip me in your smooth waters, I go in as a man with many crimes. Come up for real, and my sins float down the Jordan. Oh, I wanna come near and give every part of me, but there's blood on my hand, and my lips are unclean. Take me to your river, I wanna go. Please let me know. Take me to your river, I wanna know.
I just want to say thank you to the Nelson family for having me. An honor to play a small part in celebrating a true legend. Thank you.
Mr. Bridges, thank you for all you did to get here. A lot of people jumped through a lot of hoops to be here today, and thank you very much. At this time, I do want to invite Nelly's Maui buddies forward. They have a very special bond. Come on up, guys. Yeah. We want to invite Mike and Tom forward to give us a taste of Nelly's life on Maui, but also to intro a special guest. Good to see you guys. Welcome.
I gotta have the dog. I can tell you this much. I don't know what it's like to be one of Nelly's basketball players. We used to drive down the road. There's a outdoor basketball court right in Paia, right by where one of his houses is. And every time we drove by, I just want to see what kind of reaction I could get out of Nelly. I'd say, hey, why don't we go out there? You give me a couple pointers. And every time he'd say something different, my favorite reaction was he said, I don't coach guys with a 2-inch vertical. I got to spend a lot of time competing with Nelly and against Nelly over the last decade. Probably our favorite place to compete, without a question of a doubt, was the golf course. I had called Nelly up. We had these 2 young guys, young golfers that wanted to play against me and Nelly. And so he picked me up, and we're on our way over there. And he said, so what's the deal with these 2 guys? I said, I think they're pretty nice guys, you know. He goes, do you think I care about their temperament? I want to know what kind of players they are. Well, I didn't really know what kind of players they were. We got to the golf course. I had something wrong with my ankle, so I was walking kind of funky. And Nelly, I think he was 81 at the time, and these guys were licking their lips. They were ready to take money from us. We weren't sure whether we were getting hustled or we were going to win a lot of money. And they did not know what they were in for. We won the match on the 10th hole. We let them press, and we beat them again on the 18th hole. It was kind of a funny moment because the first time I'd been gambling with Nelly on the golf course, and the guys that we played didn't have enough money to pay us. And so I had to pay Nelly and then collect later. With that being said, we kind of, group of guys in Maui started calling us the Pacific Pirates on the golf course. Nelly was one of a kind. He was a competitor until his last days. He always said he was the luckiest guy in the world. And I don't know, I feel so lucky to know him, and I think everybody feels that way. I'm gonna miss the guy, so from one Pacific Pirate to another, Nelly, I love you. I'll be thinking about you the rest of my life. I'd like to introduce one of Nelly's great friends. This is Tom Kartsotis.
Donnie and Joy, family, I know these last days have been tough, and I came here this morning not feeling so good, but this celebration has been wonderful. I feel like I've been with them for a bit. How I met Don Nelson. So when I was in high school, I started this ticket scalping company here in Dallas, and I bought tickets for concerts and sports, and the Dallas Mavericks came to town. And my customers wanted to buy tickets from everybody for everything, so I bought tickets for every Mavericks game for a long time until they went to the playoffs. And then the guys that were running the team at that time, they just said, we're not going to sell Tom tickets anymore. So I got this guy that looked like a lawyer, and we went down to the Mavericks, and I left that meeting thinking, I don't want them to win. So a few years later, I was in Hawaii. My next door neighbor said, hey, you're a Dallas guy, Nelly's in town. Why wants to go play golf. Why don't you go? So he picks me up. We're in the car on this 2-lane road going down to the old McKenna. And he says, so how'd you like that trade I did last week? And I said, honestly, sir, I don't even follow you. And to be really honest with you, I want you to lose every game. He stopped the truck in the middle of the road. There's cars piling up behind us. We met on the first tee, both of us barefoot, and he's been my coach since. Thank you.
We want to play a video from one of Nelly's really good friends. I think you'll enjoy it.
Hey everyone, I'm happy to get a chance to talk about my great friend Don Nelson. And I think everyone knows that Nelly loved Hawaii, and I spent a lot of time with him on Maui. And I wish I could say it was, talking about philosophy and tackling the big life questions, but no, mostly just gambling and competing. And Nelly was tough to compete against because you always had to be ready for the game within the game. I remember one of our big golf matches, we get to 18, biggest bet of the day. I'm going to tee off. Nelly drives up. He's looking at me and he's like, Christ, did you have polio as a kid? Your legs are so skinny, there's no definition in them. And I promptly lost the hole, shanked my drive, lost the bet. I mean, it's kind of hard to focus on your swing when you're wondering if you should be, wearing long pants when you play golf. And you would get so used to that side of Nelly, sometimes it'd catch you off guard with the other, because another time he's kind of watching me. He said, your dad would be really happy. I said, what? And he goes, your dad loved the game and he'd love seeing you learn it. And he was right. I would think about my dad a lot and feel connected with him. And Nelly was smart enough and sensitive enough to feel that. And really the gambling, shuffleboard and cards and golf, it was all just a portal into friendship and spending time together. And I know, the hardest time I ever went through, Nelly was there. When I got out of the hospital, he visited me, and I remember him kind of grabbed me and saying, okay, it's time to compete now. You got to compete. And that kind of became my rallying cry as I, try to find my way back. And I still say it. I say it to my kids too. So maybe Nelly was tackling the big question. What are we doing here? Well, we're here to compete. We're here to do our best. We're here to try to live a meaningful life and be part of a team. And there was not a better example than Nelly. And I thank God I was on his team. We all were.
Been walking this long road to sorrow and pain. Sometimes the nights get weary. Sometimes I call his name. But deep inside I'm certain there's more than I can see. When this life is over, heaven's got a plan for me. Yeah.
Heaven's got a place for me.
By the crystal sea,
Heaven's got a place for me.
where my soul is free. No more tears, no more pain, only love eternally. Oh, I'm bound for glory.
Heaven, glory.
Heaven's got a place for me. I've stumbled and I've fallen, but His grace picked me up again. I've lost some battles fighting, oh, but the war with Him I always win. Now I'm walking in this promise. By His grace I will always be. And I know when I cross that river, I've got heaven here with me. Oh,
Heaven's got a place for me.
By the crystal sea,
Heaven's got a place for me.
where my soul is free. No more tears, only love eternally. I'm bound for glory. Heaven's got a place for me. Oh, when the saints are singing and the angels call His name, I will join in that chorus. By the blood of the Lamb that was slain. Oh,
Heaven's got a place for me.
by the crystal sea,
Heaven's got a place for me.
where my soul will be free. I'm gonna see, I'm gonna walk in His glory. Oh, for all eternity, Heaven's got a place for me. Heaven's got a place for me.
I want to welcome Christy Armstrong and DJ Nelson, Donnie's kids, forward to share their reflections on their grandfather. DJ, Christy.
Psalm 103, 17-18. But the steadfast love of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting on those who fear Him, and His righteousness to children's children, to those who keep His covenant and remember to do His commandments.
Well, we all thought your last chapter would be on Maui. But as some of you know, that last chapter was here in Dallas. Having you live around the corner from me here in Texas made for a lot of memories this past year. Ever since I was a little girl, I always called you Grampy. And when my 2-year-old first tried to repeat your name, it somehow came out as Doopy. I have no idea why, but it stuck. And from then on, we made pancakes together almost every morning. Those precious memories I will hold deeply in my heart, and I promise Dad and I will forever make the boys Doopy cakes for the rest of their lives. Mike alluded to this earlier, but recently you said, I feel like I'm the luckiest guy in the world. It's good to be back in Texas, I'll tell you. I moved back here, and I'm having the time of my life. The reality was we were the luckiest. You were a lot of things. Coach, innovator, visionary, Hall of Fame legend. But to us, you were so much more than that. You loved your players, but man, you loved us really well too. If this church is any proof, you've impacted so many around you. Watching you receive communion at this very table here for the first time in a long time has been a full circle moment. I don't think it was an accident that your last chapter was here surrounded by family. And although your time here was cut short, your legacy lives through us forever. I love you always, your Kiki. And now, there's no better way to send you into the waves than a song by your dear friend, the great Pat Green, everybody.
But I'll make this fast because I know we gotta go potty sooner or later. I'm gonna leave you that we lost a teammate of mine for a long time, a couple months ago to an accident, and what I realized when I was eulogizing him is that we all felt like he was our guy. That's our guy. He's our champion. He's our true happiness. And then it dawned on me that we thought he was our guy. We all belong to him, and that's what Nelly is. All of you belong to him, every single one of you. And you have some of my money. Mile upon mile, got no direction. We're all playing the same game. We're all looking for redemption, baby. Just afraid to say the name. We're so caught up now in pretending. What we're seeking is the truth. I'm just looking for a happy ending, baby. All I'm looking for is you. And it came about me way on way. You're the reason I'm still here, yeah. No matter what you were sent to say, it came about me way on way. I wandered out into the water, and I thought that I might drown. I don't know what I was after, baby. I just know I was going down. And that's when she found me. I'm not afraid anymore. She said, you know, I always had you, baby. Just waiting for you to find what you were looking for. It came upon me way on way. You're the reason I'm still here. Am I the one you were sent to say? And it came upon me way on way. Wave on wave. That was in tune, actually. Wave on wave. Okay, I'm gonna do this differently.
There's been a lot shared this morning and well into this afternoon, but at this time we want to invite Donnie and Joy and the entire Nelson family forward. They want to say thank you to each and every one of you who has gathered. Joy, Donnie. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to me to see and hear all the love and respect and support from so many people who love Don. Thank you all for coming and for honoring my husband. Aloha.
Thank you, Joy. Pat and Leon, you guys nailed it. Thank you very much. You guys, those are two of his favorite songs, so thank you. We're going to continue this celebration, and if you're not doing anything later on tonight, we'll be at Chamberlain's Steakhouse Cigar Lounge from 4 till closing. Talking, passing the mic, singing, and celebrating an incredible life. And then later on, stay tuned, there will be a sprinkling of ashes with Joy's Canoe Club. This is a good time to plug your canoe club, Joy. A canoe club to be named later, and we'll keep you posted on that. So again,
Kihei Canoe Club.
Kihei Canoe Club, there it is, on Maui. And if you need a place to stay, Nelly's Rentals, right? Huh? That's the way he'd want it. Thanks, everybody, for coming. We love you guys.
Thank you. So, friends, as you go forth from this hours of worship, to be the church in the world, may God give you the grace never to sell yourself short. Grace to risk something big for something good. Grace to recognize that the world is now too dangerous for anything but truth, far too small for anything but love. So may God take our minds and think through them. May God take our lips and speak through them. And may God take our hearts, each and every last one of them, and set them on fire. And may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all and guide us in our many, 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 many different ways. This day and all of our days, may it be so. Amen.